As I'm recording this video, the Warriors just got blown out by the Pelicans by almost 40 points. Yeah. Draymond Green just got reinstated from his suspension. Did not play in the game, granted, but still, Steph Curry has to carry this team. Klay Thompson is having a bad shooting year. Draymond Green has been in and out of the lineup due to suspensions. I mean, I loved what he said on his podcast. I'll love it more if he actually did that stuff. If he doesn't get suspended one more time this season, that'll be great. If he gets a technical foul, that's fine. But punching a guy in the face for no reason and choking Rudy Gobert, that's way bad. But he said some good things on his podcast about change, about not wanting to hurt his team, hurt his family anymore. And it was really good. If he can change, then that's great. I mean, he got a bad rap because the first thing you hear about Draymond Green's podcast is that commissioner talked him out of retiring. Is that true? I don't think so. Maybe. But no one's going to retire with that much money on the line, with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson just sitting there waiting for him to come back, the Warriors need him. And as much as I don't want to say this, though, I really wish they could trade him. They can't trade him and Klay Thompson. They can't. I mean, you won 4 championships together. You don't walk away from that. I mean, I know that, they're not playing well anymore. I mean, Klay is having a bad shooting year, but he's still not playing bad. And Draymond is playing good, but 5-5-5, that's great. But not when you're making $35 million a year. Then you have Andrew Wiggins, who's just been awful since he came back. I know, personal issues, he hasn't he came back last year, but did he come back last year? Not really. I think the Warriors definitely have to move him, although I feel bad. I mean, they have to move him, though. Chris Paul, I don't think that trade was good at all. You had to give up a little bit of draft capital, not much. Jordan Poole, yeah, that's probably just fine, but Chris Paul, you need to move him for something. You need to move Wiggins for something. They wish they could move Klay and Dre, but they're not going to. They're just not going to. If they do, I would be extremely surprised. And then you have Kevon Looney, who's been good. Then you have Dario Saric, a really good signing. But then you have Kuminga, you have Moses Moody, and you have Brandon Podziemski. That's supposed to be your next timeline, your 2-timeline thing that Warriors fans are always talking about. But here's the thing. Kuminga finally hit his breakout year. No, he's not a superstar, but is he a good player? Absolutely. But here's the issue. He doesn't trust Steve Kerr because, granted, I wouldn't either. He's having a great game. The Warriors are playing awful without him, and Steve Kerr's just you don't need to play the third quarter, it doesn't make any sense. You have Podziemski, amazing player. I mean, he's definitely one of the best rookies in the class. But by the time Podziemski breaks out, Kuminga turns into a superstar like they're talking about, maybe Moses Moody ends up being pretty good, by the time that happens, Curry's gone, Klay's gone, Draymond's gone, Chris Paul's gone if you don't trade him. And if say Podziemski's a current Franz Wagner level, good. But Franz Wagner, a little bit better Jonathan, that's not even a playoff team. It isn't, or else the Magic are a playoff team this year, but they have Cole Anthony, they have Paolo Caro, Franz Wagner, Wendell Carter Jr. They have a complete roster, and they're playing great defense. But the Warriors have to. I think their only option right now is to trade for Pascal Siakam. I think they can do it without trading any picks. I don't know if this is the right trade for the Warriors, but I'm sure it will be the right for the Toronto Raptors. You trade, I think, probably Chris Paul, Andrew Wiggins, Jonathan Kuminga, and Brandon Podziemski. That's the whole trade for Pascal Siakam. Maybe they have to throw you like some random players just to make the salary work. But the trade's great for Toronto because maybe they do want draft picks, but I think if they got look what they did for the OG trade. They got 2 good young players. In this trade, they're getting 2 good young players. Chris Paul, Andrew Wiggins. You probably keep Andrew Wiggins, but Chris Paul, then you move him for maybe a draft pick. Or maybe you move him to a team like Orlando for Cole Anthony, since they already have Jalen Suggs, who's been good. They have Markelle Fultz. Maybe they do that trade, and maybe it is just Markelle Fultz for Chris Paul. Yeah, you probably have to throw some more. Maybe John Isaac, because he's got a big contract, and he hasn't been the same since his injury. Then all the Raptors need is a good young center, and they're set with young, currently good players. Give that team a couple years, they're a really good playoff team. This year, they're probably a good play-in team. For the Warriors, is it worth it? Kuminga, maybe he doesn't want to be there, but he's still a very good player. Podziemski is really, really good. It'll still hurt to lose Chris Paul and Andrew Wiggins, as even though they're not having the best seasons, it'll still hurt. Is that all worth it for Pascal? It depends. But I think it's their only option, because you're not trading for Zach LaVine. 5 years, not good enough. I don't think anyone should trade for Zach LaVine unless they can get him for the cheap. But I really, really like that trade for the Raptors, and I would like it for the Warriors, I think. But the Warriors are just in a terrible situation, and I really don't know what they should do. So anyways, comment below what you think the Warriors should do, and thank you so much for watching.